and Wellness Podcast with me, Tara Missildine, and my beautiful co-host, Amanda Kingsley. We're going to take you on a journey today where freedom is cultivated through personal development, where women connect to fuel their futures, and where wealth is created as a byproduct of being well. Hello, Amanda.
Welcome, welcome. Hello, listeners.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about honoring our commitments. And before we do that, we're going to do what we usually do, talk about our gratitudes for today. What do you want to start us off with, Amanda?
I've been really into Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back, or like her oracle cards.
Fascinating.
I will post a link, but it's a 52 card deck that just gives me a little nugget of inspiration to stay on track. I actually pulled one before we podcasted.
Really?
I did. I said, what do we need for the podcast? And it said, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I've had this deck for a long time. Someone gave it to me, and I go through cycles where I just really attach to it, and I'm in an attachment cycle.
Great.
Good.
All right.
What about you?
My gratitude, as I've mentioned, actually, I don't know if I have mentioned it or not. So I'm grateful that I have a great artistic ability. So I'm sitting here in my office, I'm looking around, and like so much of the things in here that I love are things that I have made and designed. And that is kind of cool. And I don't think I appreciate that all the time. Like, I have some absolutely stunning photography around that I've done art with, and like all my cute little logos for all of my businesses. I make those
love
things,
it.
and that makes me feel very proud and happy this morning. So I'm going to go with that.
That's such a good one.
Thanks.
Super fun.
All right, so today we're going to talk about commitment and what it means to actually honor that.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. So, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You can start. I mean, I loved the way that you kind of described launching out on this topic, that we sign up for really important things in our lives, and we have to honor that commitment even when elements of those things really suck.
Yeah.
So
how about that? Who's ready?
Let's talk into that a little bit.
I think some of the easiest, I'm the one coughing, not you. Oh gosh. I think some of the easiest places to see where we commit to something and follow through are parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the number one easiest, because it is least likely of all the people you're going to give up on in your life that you're going to give up on your children.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But I'd say the statistics are much greater that you're going to commit to that, and you sign up for it knowing that parts of it are going to suck, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't become a mother thinking that you're going to get great sleep and you're going to wake up every day and it's going to be so easy, and your kids are going to be like your partners in life and they're going to inspire you every second of the journey. And you sign up knowing that there's probably going to be broken bones, and there's going to be sleepless nights, and there's going to be puke on the couch, and there's going to be days where you just want to launch yourself out the window. But you do it anyway. Mm-hmm. Because the vision and the love and the passion behind it is so strong that you make that commitment and you follow through on it, even when it sucks. Mm-hmm. So that's like the most obvious example of something in our life that we commit to and don't bail on. And the point for me, the biggest point, is that let's not get thrown off when things go wrong, because we knew that when we signed the contract. Like, we knew they were going to go wrong, but then when they do, it's really easy to freak out. So if you take a smaller example, like starting a business, right? Mm-hmm. You don't start a business thinking it's going to be super easy and you're going to be a millionaire by the end of the tax time or whatever, by the close of the year. you start it knowing that most people fail. Like, you start it knowing there's going to be bumps in the road. But when you hit a bump in the road, if you forget the commitment part, it's really easy to bail. A whole lot easier than bailing on your children.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's an interesting thing because, you talked about the vision and the passion and the love and like all of that stuff that fuels the commitment to our children. But what happens when you've made a commitment that doesn't necessarily come with all of that fuel automatically? Yeah. So how do you fuel that?
Yeah, it can if you maintain connection to that vision and why you're doing it and how you want to feel. Yeah. And like, we sign up for things in life knowing that they're not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. It's just some of them are so much easier to bail on than others. And if we could treat all of our decisions the way we treat parenting. Now, I know lots of people get pregnant and they don't intend to have babies, and like, but let's just like stick with the scene of like, I wanted a family, I choose to have a family, I get pregnant, I raise my kids. So we'll just keep it simple.
Intentional parenthood.
Intentional parenthood. Thank you. If we could commit to other things in our life the way we commit like that, we would just get over the hurdles, right? We'd be like, well, this sucks. What am I going to do? Am I going to leave the throw up on the couch? Or am I going to clean it up? Like, sick. Am I going to run away? Or am I going to deal with it? And so we have, as human beings, we have the ability to treat all our commitments that way. Mm-hmm. We just choose not to over and over and over again. And it's fascinating.
So this is totally making me think of a book that I completely fell in love with at the end of last year, the Danielle LaPorte book.
Desire Map?
Yes. No. So when you were talking, yes, that's the one. When you were talking about, that we're not necessarily guaranteed any results on any commitment that we make.
Right.
But what can help you fuel the commitment toward that thing is actually the feelings that you create by pursuing that commitment or by holding to that commitment, right? So those will never fail you. If you are in it for the right reasons and you've made the commitment because you know it will make you feel certain things, then as long as you are feeling those things, it's not failing, right? And we should have the fuel to keep to that commitment. My thing is, regardless of the results, if you aren't feeling the things that you needed to when you made the commitment, it's also okay to let go of the commitment. To me, there's a difference between intentionally releasing a commitment that you've made, whether it's like a marriage that is no longer love between two people or has become unexpectedly something that you didn't think that it was. You're like, it is okay to intentionally release a commitment, but what we're talking about is like sticking through the unexpected hurdles within a commitment, not when something straight up changes, right?
Yeah, I think one of the good questions to ask is like, would I do this again? So if you're in a marriage, and you went into it not knowing he was abusive, right? We'll take a really extreme example. Yeah. And you're struggling and you ask yourself, knowing the challenges, would I do this again? Mm-hmm. And the answer is no. Like, that's a commitment that's probably one that's meant to be broken, right?
That you can release it.
You literally couldn't see what was on the other side. And the vision that you had of loving this man for the rest of your life, or woman, or whatever, it's dissolved. But it's like making that choice really intentionally. Like, my husband's been driving me a little bit batty lately. And I've asked myself that question a lot. Like, would I sign up for this again? It's like not even a question. Like, just because it's kind of frustrating right now doesn't mean that I wouldn't sign up for it again. So, and like, you can apply that to business. You can apply that to anything. Like, is my desire for opening the coffee shop going to be, is it stronger or weaker than the challenge that I'm facing?
Yeah. Yeah, so as you know, and many listeners know, I have a very concrete example of this in my business past. And I think that there's also a huge distinction to me of replacing a commitment with a new commitment or giving up on a commitment.
Yeah.
You know, so like when I started a really ambitious business a couple years ago, um, the entire game changed in my life that made that commitment really toxic in many, many ways. Trying, like, fighting so hard to keep my commitment to that project, even though all of my resources changed, my entire life landscape changed in ways that could not support that commitment the same way anymore. And I spent too long trying to still fulfill my commitment to that project when it shouldn't have been, you know. The game changed. And I feel like it would have been an even healthier decision to have realized that earlier and made a new commitment.
Yeah.
To myself, my own well-being, my family, my child, you know.
For me, this is where the why word becomes so important. And if you're new to the podcast, I do a lot of my life coaching like centered in the why word, and I help clients find one word that's going to get them through these decisions, that's going to get them to follow through on the commitment or not. And so, like in the case of that really big business, my why word is growth. So I would ask myself, like, what is growth asking me to do, right? And maybe your word is love. What is love asking me to do? What is connection? What is spirit asking me to do? And if you listen to that, the answer becomes a really intentional choice versus bailing on the commitment.
Right.
It becomes like, I am, as the card I started, you know, like it becomes following my inner light, which is the oracle card I had picked before we started, versus running from my fears or embarrassment or frustration. Such a difference. Such a difference. And commitment, I think, as like culturally, we're not very good at it. And one of the biggest reasons is because we don't want to face the feelings that are a normal part of any commitment, the yucky feelings that come. And we think like, abandon ship, like, I don't like my husband right now, or I didn't know it was going to be this hard, or the bank just rejected me, whatever the things are. Like, we hit that escape button so fast when we're running from our feelings. So there's a really big difference to just like feel uncomfortable, feel the fear, feel the embarrassment, feel the whatever it is, and keep going, than to feel it and run from it.
Yes, that's so true. And we are so scared of that.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. We're like always going after picture perfect, and picture perfect comes through lots of failures, and it's not it's still only picture perfect.
Well, it comes with all of those failures. It's like, you know, it's even amidst those failures that is life. That is what it is, you know? Like there is no on the other side of things not going the way that we planned. It is in the midst of things not going the way that we planned that something of that perfect life exists.
Yeah.
I feel like I should write that down for myself. I feel like I actually I just channeled that wisdom that I really needed today.
You can listen to the podcast.
I will. I'm going to have to listen to the podcast and write that down. Maybe I need a t-shirt.
Yeah. It's really good stuff. And it's just, I think like most of the topics that we bring up on the podcast, they're nothing like mind-blowing. It's just like stopping and bringing your attention to new places that you haven't stopped and thought about. Like, I've made a commitment to this job. Like, have I really stopped to think about it in a long time? Is this really where I want to be? Is this me serving my purpose? Is this me, or is this me just in like rat race survival mode, or whatever the thing is, the marriage, the whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the podcast is just like us having conversations and bringing attention to it. Like that alone is so valuable. Just that you're listening, whoever is out there listening, that you're listening and just allowing your brain to go there to a new place. Be like, I haven't really thought about commitment in a while. Maybe it's time to make a list of all the commitments I have in my life and look at them and go like, which of these are serving me and which are not, and what am I going to do about it?
Yeah. And am I actually committed in my body, mind, and soul to this thing? Because when you're not, that's when it's really, really hard to sustain.
Toxic.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing that we haven't talked about are commitments that we make to things we don't want.
Right.
Many of us have made commitments to hating our body, or commitments to hating our mother-in-law, or commitments to hating our boss. I keep using those examples of like, or commitments to thinking the world is against us, but that's really interesting. Make a list of all the commitments you have that you, like, some are not intentional, but you are making them and you're showing up to them and you're honoring them every single day without even realizing that they're not what you want. They're not serving you in any way. Whew. Like, I know a lot of people who are committed to the stress, right? This is actually a podcast topic that Tara and I had talked about. What we will do another podcast on is like, you're committed to having a to-do list. You're committed to being in a late frenzy all the time. So yeah, really interesting stuff, this commitment. And it's not all intentional.
It's not. And you're smirking at me a lot, and I know there's a lot of messages in here for me.
No, I just didn't think we were going to go here. So I'm like, how did we get here?
I just love you, Amanda.
Well, I don't think Jen will mind me sharing. This happened with her in the coaching that we did together. And if you don't know my coaching work, I co-coach with Jen Heilman, who's a coach. And I remember driving to her house and I was getting this clear message over and over again. And I was like, there's a commitment she has to the stress of maintaining this certain lifestyle that she keeps just looking for it, showing up to it. And once we brought attention to that, she was like, oh my goodness, like, I have totally made a commitment to that story, and I just have to be aware of it now. Like, the first step is awareness. And it happens all the time. Like, thinking about my husband, I'm like, oh Lord, the commitments that he's made.
It's sometimes easier to see those in other people, I think, because you know, a lot of times if we're sort of like stifling ourselves under one of or many of those, I think it's really a blind spot. It's an easy place for a blind spot. You know,
I'll tell you a commitment.
We know how we are in our own way around those things. Yep,
I am in my way around money like nobody's business. Doesn't matter how much comes in. I'm in such a, there's always enough.
Yeah.
And then it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes. And I've made this commitment to like not building the abundance that I desire. And I'll catch myself doing it all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so committed to that story. Like, let it go.
So you know what mine is? Mine is proving. Yep. I am committed to always be trying to prove that I got this. I got this what you want me to take, and I've got this what I thought of taking, and I'm like, I got this, but usually I don't got it.
Another interesting layer, when we started talking, and we should wrap up here, but when we started talking about commitment, we were talking about how we commit to really good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we freak out when the bad things come in. And it actually happens the other way around too. When we commit to things that we don't want, stories we don't want to repeat, lifestyles that we don't actually love, we sabotage ourselves when the good things come in. And because we're like so committed to the story that even when we do break it, we sabotage ourselves to go back to the story. So it's like it happens on both sides. It's just so fascinating.
So true. My God.
Yeah.
This was a good episode. Thanks for bringing this topic up.
I know. Now we're gonna have to both get off and process.
I know, right? Today's already a dreary. Like here in Western Mass today, we are like, my phone keeps blowing up with flood warnings. It's like black and gray and dreary outside and crazy rain, and it feels like a very good day for introspection and processing.
Yeah. So write your list. I'm gonna do it too. Let's all go write our commitment list. Be like,
I'm gonna double down on that for my ask.
Yeah.
Write it out for yourself. Please take this moment for you.
Yeah. Think about the commitments in your life. Yeah. Let's see, an ask. Yeah, I would ask that people do go check out the Connected Growth Coaching podcast, or not podcast, website, because this is the work that Jen and I do with our coaching clients. We're like, what are the stories that you're wanting to repeat and what are the stories that you're not wanting to repeat, and how can we dig into all of this a little deeper? So the website is connectedgrowthcoaching.com.
Okay, we'll definitely put the link up for everybody.
All right.
Thank you. Until next time, my friend and friends.